so far.
Yeah.
Bypass the whole deal and just stand in the sun.
Cool. It looks like a cricket.
While you, Mr. Rosebrook, have maintained your innocence, this court respects the judgment and verdicts of the 12 impartial jurors that sat and heard this case and which found you guilty of the 5 counts that you were charged with at the end of the specifications. And turning my attention to the kidnapping, first count 5 of Mary Ann Ricker, that I find was especially heinous because any kidnapping is heinous, but this was in her own home with her fiance, Dan Ott, at her side, who also was kidnapped as part of the same incident. And it was the kidnapping that prompted Dan Ott to break free to try to confront Chad South, which precipitated his murder. And it was a kidnapping that was aimed at an ultimate goal of not just kidnapping, but aggravated murder. So I find the defendant not amenable to community control and sentence defendant on count 5 to a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. And also, as to all the counts, the 3 years gun spec that's carried with it. The 3 years gun spec is served first and consecutive to the 10-year prison sentence imposed on the kidnapping. It goes without saying, Dan Ott did not deserve to die, and he didn't deserve anything. He had nothing to do with Chad South or Joe Rosebrook. His death was a mindless, senseless death caused as a result of a mistaken identity by sinister murderers. And it was the result of a vengeful vendetta. This was no noble purpose. This was to retaliate against someone who served as a witness in a legal proceeding, like what goes on in this courtroom. And the law views retaliation against a witness like that very, very seriously. And it was the death here of a totally innocent 31-year-old man. And by all accounts, he was a fine, hard-working, law-abiding man with a wonderful reputation. And to think that but for the determined and relentless efforts of law enforcement, justice for Dan Ott would have been denied. So many times it's hard to come up with a sentence when there's a range of possibilities available, as there is in this case. But in the case of you, Mr. Rosebrook, you hatched this while you were serving time for a first conspiracy to commit aggravated murder. So this is made easy. For me, you're a repeat offender. And this was a scripted and a choreographed, a planned, a predetermined effort. Everything about the offense to me points towards it being more rather than less serious. So I do impose the recommended sentence that the state is offered, which is life in prison without parole. I then sentence you, Mr. Rosebrook, to such sentence to be served consecutive to and after count 5 is served, the kidnapping. I do, with respect to the kidnapping, notify you that Post-release control will be imposed following any release from prison, and the duration of that is 5 years. If you violate such post-release control sanctions, the adult parole authority can impose more restrictive post-release control sanctions, may increase the duration of post-release control, or may return you to prison for an additional period of time not to exceed 1/2 of the original term. If the violation of post-release control is a new felony, you may additionally be prosecuted with a new offense with an additional prison term imposed. And with respect to consecutive sentencing, I wish to find for the record that it imposes the consecutive sentences because it finds them necessary to protect the public from future crimes, to punish the offender, and that consecutive sentences are not disproportionate to the seriousness of the offender's conduct and to the danger that the offender poses to the public. Do you have any question concerning your sentence, Mr. Rosebrook?
I'd like to have a appointed attorney for the appeal.
All right, thank you. Then, State of Ohio, anything further?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anything else from the defense?
No, Your Honor.